going on, everybody? Welcome to the Investing Bros. Maybe you're just waking up. Maybe you're actually headed to sleep. I don't know where you are, but thank you so much for going ahead and tuning on in. We're going to be getting into some major headlines running all over crypto, and we're going to get into them right now. Let's go ahead and start with one that I found particularly fascinating. This is from Novogratz. Haven't heard from him in a little bit, ever since he predicted that we were going to get the approval for the spot Bitcoin ETFs in Q4 of 2023. So far hasn't happened for old Mike, but let's see what he's got to say this time. Bitcoin has significantly outperformed JP Morgan shares. Mike Novogratz slams Jamie Dimon. Let's take a look here. Bitcoin is up 161% in 2023. In case you hadn't heard, compared to JP Morgan's gain of about 17%. Measly. While Bitcoin gained 128% in value in the last 3 years, JP Morgan shares increased 28%. Measly. Providing a total return of 39%. Despite Bitcoin's volatile nature and the coin losing nearly 60% of its value from its all-time high in November 2021, Novogratz believes that the global community is waking up to Bitcoin's potential. He said, people around the world believe in this, and they believe in the community. They believe in the ecosystem. They're seeing governments spending a lot of money, not just in the U.S. When BlackRock CEO Larry Fink came on your show and said, I think you're going to see Bitcoin in all portfolios. The issue was already mooted and won. Mooted and booted, some might say. All right, we're having fun. Guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in. There's a little morning uplift from Mike Novogratz, of course, CEO of Galaxy Digital, excuse me. So it's always good to get a little bit of perspective from some of the folks who are tied in more with the establishment, but are also hardcore Bitcoin fans. Now, you're probably watching this and you're saying, well, I like Bitcoin. I like the concept of it, but what about those altcoins? We're going to get to them in just a second. Hang with me. Let's have a little salad before we get into our steak. I gave you a little bit of the steak with that Novogratz coat, a little hopium, a little bit of fun. Let's go ahead and get into the salad here. I've got the economic data, non-farm payrolls, and unemployment rate have both come in positive, okay? So this is the unemployment rate, came in 3.7, forecasted 3.9. That's a beat. And actual for the non-farm payrolls for November, 199,000 versus the 166,000. You want that number to be bigger. That's a beat. So we got double beats here on the economic data print. Let's go. So nothing is going to stop Bitcoin, it seems. Nothing is going to slow down crypto. And certainly if we take a look at the charts and we take a look at, let's go ahead and start with Cardano on the 1 month. Why not? Tim just did a very in-depth price prediction for Cardano. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it right now. Stop this video. His video is much more important. He has a really, really surprising price prediction for Cardano. When I heard it, I was like, what's the matter, you? So you're going to go over there, you're going to watch it, and you're going to have some fun. But over here on Cardano, you can see the proximity to the Bollinger Band is something I like to pay attention to quite a bit. You can see there's still a little bit of a gap here for Cardano. It's got about 9, call it 10%, okay, up to the upside to reach that Bollinger Band. Whereas if you look at other names, like Bitcoin, for example, maybe you've heard of it, you can see that it has eclipsed, right, that Bollinger Band. And if you can, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can mute the candlesticks and you can see behind it. So it comes up to about 40,400, let's call it. So 40,400. So Bitcoin is already 7% up above that top line of the Bollinger Band. Again, these are monthly charts, okay? So back over to Cardano. We're doing some Cardano TA very light. Just kind of show you guys the magnitude of the pump that we're in for Cardano. And it has been quite a pump, as you can see here. This is even the daily chart, and you can see you haven't had a candlestick this big, red or green, since back here in July. So really getting some big, heavy volatility in Cardano, and its volatility in the direction that you would want if you were a hodler of the name, this morning causing a few questions to be asked. Because look, I have been getting very persuaded by this narrative in crypto right now, which is essentially sell the big coins, buy the small coins. And I had the thought yesterday that this is one of those beliefs, this is one of those narratives that kind of seeps in, right, undetected, and then becomes a belief, right? And I'm not saying that I disagree with that narrative overall. I think obviously there's going to be smaller cap coins that do way better than any coin in the top 20 even. However, I think that we need to also remember that foregoing the security of the top 10 and the top 20 cryptos is also important. And by security, I mean lack of volatility. All things being relative, of course. If you're coming from the stocks world or the bonds world, you're going to know that there's really no such thing as stability in crypto right now. Everything is extremely volatile. But relative to the microcaps, the top 20 cryptos are certainly much less volatile. And you can take a look here and you can see Cardano, very volatile today, but still only up 14%, right? Only up 14%. It's going to look a lot different come the bull market. All right, guys. Well, that's Cardano. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at Bitcoins, because Bitcoin on the 4-hour is actually pretty interesting. Yesterday, I put out a tweet, and I was talking about how the Bollinger Bands are providing really good support for Bitcoin. And, of course, the very next candle, it goes ahead and closes lower. Let's see if I can find that tweet really quickly. I've got some stuff I want to bring to your attention there, but this is the my jobs numbers tweet. Go ahead, if you're not following, go ahead and follow me here at tshroom. I drop a lot more tweets these days. I've been tweeting quite a bit more, and you all have been appreciating it, so am I. I appreciate your appreciation of my tweets. So if you take a look here, you can see I made a cute little graphic with the Obey logo because it seemed to be obeying the Bollinger Band, the midline of the Bollinger Band. Well, not so much. The very next candle, again, as I pointed out, has printed down, broke through there. Of course, it resumed higher because there are only buyers in this market, it seems, for Bitcoin, and has pumped higher. We're settling right around this 43,500 is really where Bitcoin likes to live right now. That is the volume range that is getting the most love. Taking a look here at the MACD, you can see that the lines are coming down, but the red histograms have already peaked. Okay, so short of a story, a story could keep those histograms reaccelerating, could resume the acceleration of the histograms, but as of now, that MACD is saying sideways, baby. And you know what that means? That means it's mini alt season, baby. Let's go. Taking a look at the Ichimoku for Bitcoin, it is coming down out of that bull zone on the 4-hour. Let's see what it looks like on the daily, because this gives you a little bit of an idea, similar to the MACD, of what could be happening. So failed to get back into the bull zone for the Ichimoku right here on the daily chart for Bitcoin. All right, I've got a tweet that I want to show you guys. You probably briefly saw it, and maybe if you're following me on Twitter, you already saw it. But this is pretty interesting here. This is a unique tshroom observation. Bear with me, and I want to hear what you have to say about this down in the comments and also in the live chat here, of which I will be turning my gaze to here in a moment. While I'm reading this, I will remind you guys, go ahead and drop some tickers, stocks, or crypto that you want me to take a look at, and we can go from there. So go ahead and drop those now so that we can go ahead and get them out of the way. And unlike yesterday, we'll be able to hopefully address some more of them. Okay. And also like this video and subscribe if you're considering taking more steps into crypto, learning more about it. We go live every single morning at 9 a.m., and we also release a TA video at 8:30, and then we go live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All these times are Eastern Standard. From the local Bitcoin top to the pump in Ethereum, it took 1 day and 15 hours. And this is illustrated below. That's about a 1.5 day delay for markets to realize the local top for the primary asset, which is Bitcoin, and then rotate into the secondary asset as it catches up, quote unquote. The 1 month Bollinger Band to assess the gap between the two. All right, so take a look here. This is what I mean. We had the local top for Bitcoin here. On Coinbase, it went all the way up to basically 45,000. Okay, but then it's trickled sideways and is now actually giving a little bit back to the market. And then this was a screenshot from last night, so it's not going to be completely up to date. And something else to know, that these are the 1 hour charts. But as you can see, I've got Ethereum down here below. as you can see, this is a little small. So this might be a little better. Oh, goodness. Okay, that's a little better to see. But as you can see here, guys, at the same time that Bitcoin really started to confirm that it was on this, sideways crab, now it has transitioned into a crab market, which took about 39 bars or 1 day and 15 hours. That's when you saw Ethereum pump. Now, correlation does not equal causation here, guys. I am not saying it's a one-to-one if-then situation here for Bitcoin and liquidity rotating into Ethereum. And I'm also not saying that all of the liquidity rotates into Ethereum. Obviously, that's not the case. There's several other places it can go. It can go to equities, it can go to cash, it can go to stable coins, it can go to other altcoins, right? It could go to bonds, could go to gold, could go to foreign exchange. There's a lot of other places for the liquidity to go, but chances are, if you're sitting there on Coinbase, or you're sitting there on Robinhood, or any of the leverage trading platforms like Blowfin is the one that we really like, and we have a link for it in our description. Blowfin, people are going to want to rotate back into crypto. And there's this concept of catching up. That's what I've got here in quotations, that Ethereum actually catches up. And that is what we're seeing, especially today in a name like Cardano. Cardano is catching up with the rest of the market. And I call back to the 1 monthly Bollinger charts with the Bollinger Band because, as you can see, I've said this again and again and again because it's a good way to assess where certain cryptos are in the race back to all-time highs, right? Rather than zooming all the way out and looking at the actual all-time high, you can just look at the Bollinger Band because it's doing all the math for you, these Bollinger Bands and SMAs as well. They are doing all the math for you of what the average price is for the underlying asset, right? Now, for some of you guys, you're rolling your eyes like T-Stream. This is so obvious, but this is a moment for the noobs to kind of see. Okay, so look, out of the gate, and by the gate, I mean the midline of the Bollinger Band, right? You can see that Bitcoin has done well. It has moved up. It has exceeded the top line Bollinger Band, okay? A name like Ethereum is just now kind of tapping. It's reckoning with that top line of the Bollinger Band. May even continue to treat this as resistance, but as of right now, you can see it's not. It's actually gone through it, which is bullish for the name. Cardano is catching up. See, it's not yet into the zone where it's really testing that upper band. So you could make the argument that Cardano has a good 10% to go, easy 10%, right? So if you're thinking about selling Cardano, I would hold off unless you've got a way better trade somewhere else. Chainlink's another good example of one that has eclipsed the upper band of the Bollinger Bands here. If we can click on it, there you go. You can see it's been done that, baby. It's in a new candle printing all the way above the top line of the Bollinger Band. All right, so this is what I mean by catch up. This is what folks might say the altcoins are trying to catch up with Bitcoin. It won't always be like this. Eventually, this climate will change. But right now, if you are new to crypto and you have never traded crypto, you're only just buying Bitcoin, buying Ethereum, and just hodling, good for you. You've done the right thing. You've not gotten scammed. And depending on where you buy, you've probably done pretty well. So you're in for the hodl. Great. But if you're thinking, man, I want to start making my first trades, right now there's a really easy thesis, right? Which is that when Bitcoin pumps, and it does, and then it stops pumping and goes sideways, as is somewhat predictable at this point. It's easy to see this on the charts. Let me point it out for you. And again, more experienced folks are probably rolling their eyes a little bit, saying, okay, T-Stream, this is a little obvious. But again, we're doing it for the noobs. There's a lot of people getting into crypto. I have been having conversations with people and realizing there's not as much knowledge as I assume out there right now. There's a lot of new minds to crypto, so I'm doing my part, right? And hopefully you will too. Like the video regardless of whether or not you're learning anything, because know that you were in the noob shoes just 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever you got in, and you learned all of these things. And we want to be the community that helps people onboard into crypto and onboard into trading, right? And ultimately into financial freedom. Okay, so talking about catching up, Bitcoin ladders up here. You can see the price movement. Once it broke up through the upper bands of the Bollinger Band here, crossing the midline of the Bollinger Band, which is an indicator on the charts for Bitcoin, it didn't look back. It came back, tested that midline, and has since move to the upside quite rapidly. But as you can see, there's been periods where through the upside and it went sideways. Okay, so it stops a move ups and goes sideways, and then there's another move up and goes sideways. Each time this happens, the altcoins are not far behind, right? And in some cases, like Chainlink is actually front running Bitcoin. It is ahead of Bitcoin in its proximity to the Bollinger Bands. There's other altcoins doing that too, meaning kind of Bitcoin's chasing up to it, okay? Forecasting maybe the future for crypto prices. Chainlink kind of is the main one that comes to mind. Cardano is at the end. It's kind of at the end of the train. It's the one that seems to take the longest to catch up. That has a lot. There's a lot of different reasons for that. But the overall concept here is, guys, is that there is a phenomenon that always happens in crypto around this time, that when there's a lot of upward price movement, that it's easy to trade alts. Now, you have to realize you cannot forego the time-tested principles of still using stop loss, still using risk management, not investing or trading more than you can afford to lose. It's not like this thesis is so tight that it can't be wrong. Okay, it absolutely can be wrong. And when you trade, still expect to lose some money in your trades. You're not going to be 100% picking these trades. But all I'm trying to point out for you is if you've had trouble finding entry points to a trade, right now you can play that catch-up game. You can play Ethereum is going to catch up with Bitcoin as Bitcoin stops its buying. Buyers stop going as aggressively into Bitcoin, and they actually rotate into altcoins. Okay, I think we've hit that horse pretty good. Let me know if I did a poor example, poor job. I think I did a pretty good job of explaining that. Gia S said, let's show T-Shroom some love and smash that like. Let's get it, baby. I would absolutely love that. I would really appreciate it if you would make that happen for me. All right. Eric Wallen said, in Tim's dog walking scenario. I love it. I love it. My analogy still holds. ADA was the dog that stopped to take a crap. Now it's catching up. That's a good one. I have not heard that said that way. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm sure it made sense to Tim when he was making that analogy. Cardano just hit 54 cents on Coinbase. Wow, very, very bullish. So is Cardano? Oh, Cardano is continuing to pump higher here. Let's go take a look at the charts. Wow, this is actually really incredible. So as a pretty big percentage of my portfolio is Cardano. And man, you can see. So Cardano really shaking out the doubt today, because there's been some doubt that kind of also feeds into that other narrative I was talking about, where it's sell the big projects, sell the top 20, buy like the small cap gems. Nothing against the small cap gems, right? But I'm having to recalibrate my now belief that is a narrative that I should follow, that I should listen to. I still don't think it's completely negated, but I am starting to think there is an incentive for folks who have a lot of those small cap gems, for folks to shake out people who have bigger projects. Now, what I will say is there is a nuance to that nuance, which is some of these bigger projects aren't going to pump. They're not going to do well, right? There's a few that come to mind. One of the ones that I think I'm going to go ahead and commit to not liking is ICP, Internet Computer, right? Just because it has an infinite NAC supply. I just don't get why you would be attracted to that, okay? But there's a lot of value locked up in that project that isn't going to go into new altcoins. And all of those folks, in my opinion, are going to not realize what they could have, right? They could have a 10x, a 100x, a 30x gain in a different coin, but they're going to be sitting there holding ICP. All right, taking a look here at what about XRP, always 62 to 65C. So XRP, guys, and XLM, in my opinion, so what have we just talked about? We just talked about, this narrative of, the top 20 coins. You sell those, you buy the small cap gems. I think XRP is one of those where I'm like, yeah, yeah, do that. Not 100%, guys. It's not financial advice, and I'm not saying that XRP is a terrible project. I just think that when it comes to the exuberance and the euphoria of the crypto markets, it's going to be hard for people to get excited about a coin like XRP, even though it's had its cases, its win in court. Right, even though it's a pretty big coin, I think it has more room to fall than it does to grow. Now, I stand with Tim in that XRP will still hit its all-time highs and probably eclipse it, but I think we're going to be disappointed by XRP. And I say that off the most easy to grasp data point, which is we're disappointed by it right now. Okay, XRP's price movement has been anemic. It's not been great. Ever since it got this positive court case outcome back in July, right? And it did like what, 50% in a day, which was real nice. Yeah, it did 70% in a day. It wicked all the way up to 100%. Okay, way more than 50. But it retraced all the way back down. Okay, that's not great. And ultimately, the court case had some hitches, but it was pretty cut and dry for XRP itself. Okay, so now since those lows, it's really, currently it's rocking out at 38%, but it only ever got as high as 60%. So this is a lower high, guys, in a time where a lot of other altcoins like Chainlink in the same time. Let's look at a comparison. A name like Chainlink. Oh my gosh, Netflix. How did Netflix get up here? Oh, classic trading view. So, as you can see here, whoa, way zoomed out. All right, this comparison may not be worth it at this point. Oh, of course, now it's got both of them pulled up. Sorry, guys. Trying to move around here too quick. So as you can see, XRP here, mostly flat, whereas Chainlink, up and to the right. Okay, so there's going to be different opportunities, and you have to realize sometimes that you may be overly committed in a relationship with a coin that isn't going to do as maybe as well as some of the smaller cap gems, right? But there's going to be coins that are adjacent to XRP, right, in the top 5, in the top 10, in the top 20 that are just going to do absolutely great. And Cardano is kind of showing that while it takes a while, it will have those days. And don't get me wrong, guys. I could easily be wrong about the XRP and XLMs of the world. They could end up doing a lot better and do a 10 or a 20x in addition to their all-time high. However, I'm not feeling the hype, right? And at the end of the day, a lot of these coins, you do have to have a little bit of a gut feeling on it. Francisco said, definitely reallocating my ICP bag. Well, don't do it based on exactly what I say. Definitely go do your own research. But the thing about Internet Computer is the only people I've seen excited about it, they had YouTube channels where that's all they talked about. And they would do review after review after review of other projects. And their conclusion was, well, this project sucks. And it sucks because ICP is so great. And then I go do some research because I'm like, well, this ICP, I haven't heard a whole lot about it. I've heard about it, but I don't know much about it. So I'd go do research and like, well, it's got an infinite max supply. How do they justify that? And the short answer is they don't. Like, they try to. They say things, but those are not very convincing things. We're up against the clock here, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the stories. And then I don't see a lot of names being called out here for TA. So it looks like we're not going to do much chart gazing today. That's okay. Based on what you guys want, at least. That's fine with me. I do see Ron Wilson said Matic. Let's go ahead and knock that one out, and then we'll get into the chart, into the stories. So Matic. Matic has been one that's honestly been disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you. It's one that I have not been as impressed by its price movement, and I'm going to show you why. I don't put it in the same category as XLM and XRP here. But if you go out to the 1 weekly chart, it is currently only now breaking the dynamic reactor. Again, this may not be a very noob-friendly observation here because this is using some terminology you may not be familiar with, but it's only now breaking the dynamic reactor, and on the monthly chart, it's still not doing as well as it could be. But let's go ahead and go down into the lower time frames and take a look. Let's see. So Matic, it's looking like it's recovered somewhat well here, and it's under a green trend assistant, but it's got a sell rating, right? So those would be contradictory. It's put in a higher high from the high that it put back in July, right? So over a multi-month analysis, Matic is actually looking like it's doing well, but you do have a lower low. You have 1, 2, 3 lows that all come in right around 50 cents. And if it wasn't for this wick that came down to 50 cents, that would also be that those would be lower lows. If you don't count the wick, right, these are lower lows. So that's up to you how you want to call that cat. But ultimately, the MACD on the daily chart looking pretty good. So you just got a bull cross above the 0 line and green histogram starting to grow after this prolonged and very exaggerated MACD plateau here. So you don't see this MACD plateau here. Cluster of histograms was bigger than this one, this one, this one. You have to go all the way back to July to get another cluster of histograms that were that pronounced. Okay, taking a look here at the Ichimoku, you can see it's far from the bull zone on the daily, but it is above the 0 line, which is good to see. So overall, you may conclude that Matic is underperforming. You may also conclude that Matic just has further to go, right? You could also say that about XRP and XLM, that their delay, right, their lack of catching up is it just means you should rotate into them, right? Because they're underbought. And by definition, there is an argument to be made that they are underbought. But what I'm saying is perhaps they're underbought for good reason. They're underbought because there's not enough hype. They're underbought because folks are just not as bullish on them. Bitcoin buy or sell, said Albert Joshua. Neither. For me, Bitcoin is a hold right now. Now, if you have liquidity and you're DCAing, this wouldn't necessarily be a bad time to DCA because it is kind of a very small pullback. But I'm neither buying nor selling Bitcoin right now. What am I doing? I'm buying altcoins with the new liquidity, with like basically paychecks, right? Or if I'm taking profit somewhere in stocks, crypto, I'm buying more altcoins. Okay. Bitcoin, I am very adequately exposed, in my opinion. So Albert Joshua, it depends on what your allocation is. We don't say financial advice. Nobody on YouTube really should be saying any financial advice. So of course, I'm not telling you what you should do. And the main reason for that, the reason why there's laws against dispensing financial advice is because I don't know what your portfolio is, right? If you have 100% portfolio, that's all your net worth, right? And you're doing that, you probably shouldn't buy any more Bitcoin, right? You should probably have some currency for the country you live in so that you can exist properly. However, if you're talking about just investments, Bitcoin is probably something you need to gain exposure to if you don't have any already. Dylan Martinez said, don't worry, Matic can be a late bloomer. Yeah. So that is going to be, ultimately the answer to all this is like, are these coins going to pump? Guys, we are so far from the actual euphoria of the bull market. XLM, XRP, these coins are still, in my opinion, they're still going to pump as long as something crazy like a black swan doesn't happen. It's just right now, they are on my disappointed list, right? And I have actually started a list, and I'm going to probably be showcasing that next week. But let's go ahead and get to some more of these stories. Elon Musk has important message for cryptocurrency holders. His message is essentially not your keys, not your wallet, right? We've heard this before, but this show, I'm trying to make it a little bit more noob friendly. So if you don't know what this means, take a Google search, take a look into it, and make sure that you get a cold wallet and store your crypto there, especially your Bitcoin and other coins that you plan on not selling and not trading, right? Or swing trading. So very, very good. Nira Karki, I've got good news for you. You're requesting ADATA. Go ahead and go to this channel. Just click on the channel. You have my permission to leave this video. It's okay. My partner Tim did extensive TA on Cardano today. He put that video out, and it's just a picture of him, and it says, I think, 30x Cardano, ? So go and check out that video. It came out this morning. Much more thorough TA on Cardano. So, and I am no longer taking any more Cardano suggestions. Piper Academy said, Matic went down way less than all the other coins in the bear market too, including Bitcoin. Okay. Very interesting. So that's actually quite bullish. And this is why it takes a community, because a data point like that is very significant. That can be indicative of why we haven't seen as much upside for Polygon, because it's not as underbought. It's not as overbought as other coins, right? So it's more adequately valued, more adequately priced by the market is a way to say that. Okay. So make sure you're custodying your own keys, guys. Here's another one. Uphold enters XRP custody scene. Here's what this means. You don't need to know what this means. Ultimately, this is a wallet, right? This is a wallet / exchange, and they're getting into the XRP custody scene. I noticed this yesterday because I use Uphold quite a bit. And let's keep moving. Kathy Woods has got a soundbite here, but we are over time. Essentially, she's saying that she's continuing her conversations with the SEC, and it shows a change in the SEC's behavior. Bitcoin ETFs will come for sure, she says. Multiple ETFs will get approved at the same time, and the court is going to mandate the SEC. The court is going to mandate the SEC. Maybe that means for grayscale. Not exactly sure what that means. Okay, and then we've also got another update on the ETFs, which are that Van Eyck's ETF is going to be HODL. So that's pretty cool for Van Eyck. And then also Chainlink is getting a lot of positive action with the Chainlink community staking pool full, drawing in more than 620 million. Guys, you've been tuned in to the Investing Bros. I've been T-Shroom, and every single morning at 9 a.m. I bring you the news in crypto that matters for your portfolio. I tried to bring you there wasn't a ton of news. There was a decent amount of remarks and insights being brought to us by the market. We went over some charts, and we had a good time. But ultimately, we are going to be taking a little bit more of a moment for the noobs, and I hope that you will join me in helping to educate the next 5 million orange-pilled crypto fanatics that are coming in. And they're coming in droves, guys. And we want to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes that we have made, right? And that they can learn from our mistakes rather than having to learn them themselves. And there's no better place to learn from the mistakes of others in crypto than in Discord. And you can join our Discord for free by finding the first link in our description of this very video. It looks a little something like this. You just scroll down. Okay, we did ADA. And you can see the free Bros Discord. You are tuned into the Investing Bros. I'm an investing bro, and so can you be. If you just join the Discord today, let them know the T-Shroom sent you, and you're going to have a great time. I'm going to be hanging out with Army Piper this weekend. I'll probably be posting some pics in the Discord and more than likely on Twitter as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. And you can go see him right now by clicking off and searching in the search bar of YouTube Piper Academy. And you can go watch him do some much more in-depth TA and cover some news as well. I'll take you in the next video. Peace.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.